everyone, and welcome to episode 99 of the Best Day Ever Crafting podcast. My name is Trish. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Tie-Dye Diva. You can find show notes for this episode in the description box below. And what else? There is a Ravelry group also called Best Day Ever Crafting Podcast Group. We'd love for you to join us over there, join in our make-alongs and share your projects and just become a part of this little community that I've been building. So if this is your first time here, then an extra special welcome to you, and welcome back all of you returning viewers. So today I'm just going to update you on some of my knitting projects. No crochet in this episode, so everything will be about the knitting projects I finished and projects that I have been working on since then. So I hope you're comfortable. I hope you have a comforting beverage of choice, and maybe you're knitting or you're crocheting or you're sewing or you're embroidery or whatever. And let's just chat a little bit about what I've been up to since we last talked. So let's start off with finished objects. I have two finished objects to share today. The first finished object is a hat. This is my finished Rikke hat. Rikke is R-I-K-K-E. It is a pattern by Sarah Young, and it is knit in a DK weight yarn. And I decided to add mohair to this Rikke hat. I think I've knit this pattern probably about, this is at least my 5th time knitting this. So the Rikke hat is an oversized slouchy beanie, and it's on the pattern page. It's worn like slightly off of the head. I'm not going to put it on because, as you can see, I got a new do and it's a lot of hair. So I don't want to stretch it out more than it's already. I don't want to make it any larger than what it already is. Adding that mohair definitely made the hat a lot larger than intended, but I'm perfectly okay with that because I love an oversized slouchy hat. So the yarn that I used was by Hypnotic. Their Hypnotic DK, I believe it's their plush base, and I held that with, as I mentioned, a mohair silk. There's that back seam. And I ran out of the mohair silk that I used for the majority of this hat, and I had to end up substituting in another color. So that's why my crown is a lot pinker than the rest of the hat, but I think it's kind of cool. I like that. The body of this hat is knit on a US 7, and the brim of the hat, even though it's not ribbed, it's still considered to be a brim, is knit on a 4. You can see how those stitches are much tighter, much more smaller than the stitches at the top here. So really love this. This will not be my last Rikke hat. Thoroughly enjoy knitting these. And yeah, I think that's all I have to share about the Rikke hat. One more close-up shot of how beautiful these yarns worked together. Okay, so next up is a pretty large finish. This next finish is called the Traveler Shawl. It is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and there's no way I can fit this in this entire frame, so I'm going to insert a couple of pictures here. So again, the Traveler Shawl by Andrea Mowry. This, I'm trying to see, where did I start this? Did I start? I don't even know. I cannot even tell you where. Maybe this is where I started, like right here in this corner. And so it's knit in 2 pieces, but you don't seam them. The 2 pieces are joined together by picking up stitches. So from one wingspan all the way to the other. This is what the shawl looks like. There's that faux seam right there. And then this is the second half of the shawl. It is massive, and as you can see from the pictures, it fits completely around even my large frame. So I love shawls like this that are oversized and really comfy and cozy. The yarn that I used for this was two skeins of my hand spun and 2 skeins of Entropy DK. These bright purples here, that's the Entropy DK. These reds and oranges are my hand spun. And I didn't plan on doing as much yarn management as I actually did for this shawl, but I did find myself breaking the yarn and starting and stopping the yarn with different color breaks, just so that it would be, that the colors would blend and there would be continuity between both sides of the shawl, if that makes sense. So this was knit in with a US 7 needle, I believe. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this, except that I love it. I did run out of yarn. I ran out of my hand spun as well as the 2 skeins of Entropy DK that I used. And I just finished it off with some Yarn Hero DK weight, which is this purple here on the end, but I think it blends in really, really well with the rest of the colors. I would definitely love to make another one of these, maybe no time soon, but I thoroughly enjoyed working on this shawl. We are heading into spring here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. That's where I am from, living in the state of Maryland. And the days are getting longer, so we definitely see signs of spring. So I'm not sure how much time I'll get to wear this before next winter, but we shall see. So again, that's the Traveler Shawl by Andrea Mowry. Now let's get into whips. So if you don't already know, I am hosting a year-long make-along with Rochelle of the Queen's Yarn Boutique podcast. And we are just focusing on knitting sweaters. I am getting off to an extremely slow start due to a variety of reasons, but we won't go into all that. We'll just, let me just show you the progress I've made on the one sweater that I have cast on. And if you're like me and you have not started your sweater, or maybe it's slow going, that's okay. You just do what you can, and this is not a race. This is just for fun, and don't want anyone to feel stressed about this. So this sweater is called the Wave of Change jacket, and it is a pattern by Denise Bayron of Bayron Handmade. And as you can see, it features mostly stockinette stitch, which is broken up by these garter ridges here. And I'm thoroughly enjoying this process. Honestly, this would have been done had it not been for the Traveler Shawl. I could not put that shawl down. So my sweater knitting definitely suffered as a result of that. But again, it's all good, right? So as you can see, the body is completely done. There's my 1x1 ribbing on the bottom. And the next thing that I have to do is pick up and knit each sleeve, as well as pick up and knit the front panels. Because this is a bulky yarn, it's not going to take long to do that. I just have to focus and just be determined to get it done. The yarn that I'm using is by Lion Brand. The name of the yarn is Hue and Me. It is a collaboration with Two of Wands, and the color is Bellini. And I think this is coming up pretty accurately, really peachy pinky. So again, the Wave of Change jacket by Denise Bayron, and I have lots of other sweaters in queue that are begging to be cast on, but I don't want to cast on another sweater until that one is done. Whip number 2. reaching back here for my bag of whips. So I'm just going to pull them out of this of the basket as they come to me. Let me show you this really cute basket too. Isn't it adorable? So I picked this up, I think it was either from Marshall's or TJ Maxx, and I'm pretty sure it was TJ Maxx. And when I saw the knit, how this was knitted, of course I had to have it, and I got it at a really good price. It was on clearance. I can't remember how much it was, maybe 12 bucks. It's super sturdy, and I've got I've got four knitting projects in here. So this little basket stays in my living room, and I've got some notions and other things in here so that I can I don't get long periods of knitting often, but it's just nice to have this here so I can just choose whichever project I want to work on in the evenings and other times. Okay, so project number one. Project number two, whip number two, is a pair of socks. The name of this pattern is Find the Joy, and this is a Crazy Sock Lady design. And here is the progress on my sock. Let me see if I can, hopefully you can see that. So it's a really simple pattern for this sock. It's this really pretty nubby texture is basically created by one cables that are really easy to do without a cable needle. If you search on YouTube, you can find all sorts of videos on how to do that. So it is a very simple pattern repeat, very easy to memorize. And I'm really enjoying this process. I don't normally knit pattern socks. Most of my socks that I've knit have been just plain vanilla socks. So it was really nice to break that up and do something in a really simple pattern. And I'm just taking my time to do these. As you can see, the heel flap and gusset have already been done. I've turned the heel, and now I am working on the foot of the sock. And so this will be the front of the sock where the patterning will remain, and on the back of the sock, it'll just be plain stockinette. The yarn that I'm using is by the Farmer's Daughter. I believe this was the January Sock Squad installment. I don't have the ball band with me in true Trish fashion, but this is the contrast skein that came with it. This yarn is absolutely beautiful, and I'll have all the details on my Ravelry page. As you can see, it's like a pistachio color. Let's see, this sun is really blowing this out, but it's definitely more green than it looks like a pistachio-ish color and specks of brown. Very interesting. So really enjoying these, and let's see how much progress I can make on those this weekend. It's definitely a take and go project. So hopefully I'll get a little bit of progress done on those. Next up, I'm just going to give you a quick flash of this project because this is a test knit, and I'm almost sure we were told we can share this on social media, but I'm just going to, since I'm not entirely sure, I'm just going to give you a quick flash of it. And before I do that, I will tell you that it is a neckerchief, just a little scarf to fit around the neck. And the yarn that I'm using is by Jill Draper. And I can't think of the base, but again, I will link to these projects that are on my Ravelry page so that you can see what the yarn is. The yarn is absolutely beautiful. Let me just show you the yarn first. That's a pretty good representation. And I don't know if you can see some of those reds that are also in this skein. Really lovely. Reds, greens, rust, and brown. So, so pretty. And this is a sport weight Cormo. So it's super squishy and just absolutely delightful. Okay, so you ready for your flash preview? There we go. Okay, that's it. That is it, and that is all I will share for now. The deadline is, I believe it's like the 3rd week in this month. Today is March 1st. Can you believe it? But the deadline is about the 3rd week in March. So I've got 3 weeks to get this done, and I shouldn't have a problem at all with getting that done, barring anything unforeseen. So the next whip is kind of, I don't know, I need some assistance with this one. So I had mentioned on the podcast once before how much I wanted to knit a hat out of Bou Clay yarn. So this is one of my skeins of Bou Clay. This is by Chelsea Lux Yarns. Look how beautiful that is. This color is Stilettos and Jeans, I believe. That's a pretty accurate representation. It is listed as a DK weight. So when I finished my Rikke Hat, I said, you know what? I'll just do another Rikke Hat with my Bou Clay yarn. And I started on my, here's my progress. So I started on, let me show you a portion that's not at the beginning. So I started on the brim using a US 4 needle, which was kind of tricky with this yarn because this yarn is, like I say, it is a Bou Clay. I wanted to get a close up. There we go. This is a Bou Clay yarn, and when you knit it up, it's got these little curly bits. Hopefully that's showing up. And as I was knitting it, I said, you know what? This is looking really big. But I said, well, maybe it'll be okay. So then when it was time to move on to the US 7 needle, I realized how large this is. This is way too large for a hat, even for my big head and big hair. So if you've been with me a while, you know I hate to frog. I really hate to frog projects. So I'm thinking maybe I should just keep on knitting this and turn it into a cowl. How lovely would that be in these beautiful colors? So I haven't decided yet. I'm going to think on this and get back to you. But if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. Okay, so there's one more whip, which I am so excited about. This next whip is called the Rad Plaid Cowl by Andrea Mowry. And this, I believe, okay, now I'm hesitating because not all, but several of my stitches have flown off the needles. So let's chat for a little bit while I fix this. This happens at every podcast, right? Why I will not learn to put point protectors on my work, I don't know. And it's like I put it in the bag or in the basket. This doesn't even have a project bag assigned to it. I put it in the basket and I call myself moving the stitches away from the needle as far as I can, but apparently that's not good enough. Apparently I really need to use my point protectors. And I think I've misplaced my beginning of round markers, so I will figure all that out. But let me just show you where I am and what this looks like thus far. So here is my progress. Can you see the halo? Because there is an addition of Surrey silk. I absolutely love and adore the fabric that this is making. It's just so pretty. So again, that's the Rad Plaid Cowl, and let me share with you the colors that I am using. Here we go. So this beautiful blue, this is the Surrey Silk that's creating that beautiful halo. This is by the Lamb and Kid, and this is their Birdie base. The color changing is a skein of my hand spun. This is Hedgehog Fibers BFL. Beautiful tones of oranges and blues and greens, aquas, really pretty. This skein here is called Elmer Fingering, and this is also by the Lamb and Kid. So these three here are creating this lovely fabric here. So this color work is very simple. The pattern repeat, I think, is easy to memorize. Stitches are still flying off the needle. And it's just a lovely project to work on. So this is a part of a pattern series by Andrea Mowry. I believe this cowl was the first. So the Rad Plaid Cowl, and then there was the tessellated pullover. Then there was a tessellated vest. So all total, I believe there are 3 patterns in this series. And I had wanted to knit this so desperately. Oh, there's also a tessellated cardigan now. So maybe it's 4. So going back to what I was saying, I really wanted to knit this, but I was listening to other podcasters and other makers, and they were talking about how long it takes to knit this this pattern, because you essentially have to knit each row twice to get some height. And I don't know whether that's because of the slip stitches. And again, this is mosaic knitting, so there's no stranded color work. This is all created by slipping stitches, which is super easy. But honestly, I haven't found that to be the case. I think this is moving along at a pretty good speed. I have a goal to knit about 1 inch of this a day, and that takes me about 1 hour. And I figure if I do that, then by the end of the month, I have a finished project. So that's my goal. I'm still really enjoying it. I'm not bored with this at all. And hopefully that continues. But when it's all said and done, it's going to be gorgeous. There is a provisional cast on involved with this. And then once it is all done, the pattern calls for you to twist it and then to seam or either do a 3-needle bind off with the provisional cast on. So I have to look at the instructions to be sure what it wants me to do. But yes, very happy with this project, and I cannot wait for the finished object. So I think that's it in the finished objects. We're moving along pretty good. And honestly, that takes me to, I was about to say acquisitions, but we're not going to call them acquisitions anymore. I had the loveliest comment from a viewer, because we had a brief discussion about acquisitions on the previous podcast. And someone put a message in the YouTube chat that really made me think deeply about how I feel about stash and acquiring more yarn and notions and things for knitting. And because we're short on time today, because I'm short on time today, I should say, I'll share her comment in the next podcast. But she calls her acquisitions, which we're not going to use that word anymore, but she calls them supplies. So next episode, I promise I won't be so hurried and rushed. and we'll dig deep into that in a little knit and chat. So instead of calling them acquisitions, stash acquisitions, we're going to call them supplies. So I've got a lot of new supplies that have come in for my crafting, and I'm just going to share a few of them with you. So this is the most recent installation of the Farmer's Daughter Sock Squad. And this color is Grandma's Hands. Grandma's Hands. Really pretty. Those terracotta-ish colors. And this beautiful, this heel toe cuff contrasting skein. It almost, to me, I don't know, like a petrol. Again, the sun is blowing out the color, but it's a really pretty green. Greenish blue. There we go. So this is going to make a lovely pair of socks or a cowl. I also picked up this beautiful skein. This is the Classic Rock sock from Wool and Vinyl. Excuse me one second, I'm gonna cut my heat off. I don't even know why it's on. Okay, so this is the Classic Rock sock by Wool and Vinyl, and the color is Moondance. So pretty. So me and a couple of my maker friends, hey Joanne and Stacy, we are all knitting blankets of some sort. I am knitting a couple of blankets, the Cozy Memories blanket, and she's doing, oh, I can't remember which blanket you're doing, Joanne, but one of her squares was knit. She had a mini skein of this, and maybe she's doing the Granny Stripe blanket. But when I saw this color in her blanket, I knew I had to have it. So I got it. And this would make a lovely, lovely pair of socks. So really, really excited about that. Let's see, what else is in this basket? One more thing. And this is a set of minis, and this is from Fibernymph Dyeworks. She had a sale about a month ago, and so I picked up this beautiful set of minis to go in my Cozy Memories blanket. So pretty. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been about 4 weeks since I last recorded. Life has just been really interesting these past few weeks. Just a lot has been going on that's been competing for my attention. So definitely hope to be back with you all much sooner on the next episode. But we do have a prize to give away. This is month 2 of our Year of the Sweater Make Along, and I am drawing a prize from the Ravelry group. And the prize that I will be giving away this month are 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I think I gave away 2 skeins of fingering weight on a last episode as well. And I picked these 2 because I thought they would work really well together. So here we go. This here is Plucky Primo Fingering. So pretty. And this is from Manos del Uruguay, and this is their, does it say what the base is? Hold on. It's right here, right there in the visor. This is the Manos del Uruguay Alegria sock yarn. So both of these combined together would make something really, really lovely. So the winner of these 2 lovely skeins, I'm going to put right across the screen here. I have not chosen the name yet because I want to make sure that Rochelle, who's choosing names from Instagram, making sure that we don't choose the same names. So if that's your name, then please reach out to me and send me your address so that I can get these 2 lovely skeins out to you. And thanks again for participating in the Year of the Sweater Make-Along. To be eligible for a prize, you have to just post a picture of your progress on Instagram using the hashtag Year of the Sweater MAL, or post a picture with your progress of your sweater in the Ravelry group. If using random number generator and I choose a name that does not have a picture, I will have to continue moving on until I find someone who has commented with a picture. So just wanted to make that clear. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode. I really enjoyed sitting and chatting with you about my latest projects. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're finding so much joy in your making. Continue to post your progress pictures of your sweaters on Ravelry as well as on Instagram, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye-bye.